Wonderful. Okay, great. If you have just joined us, good afternoon, and thank you for coming to the Meet the Irvine Candidates Forum. My name is Cheer Pan, your MC and moderator for the forum for this afternoon. And this forum is designed for the Asian American communities to get to know all the candidates and who may be our future leaders in Irvine. So it is our pleasure to have you. And then we also, before we get started, we'd like to thank all the co-organizers who made today's forum possible. So the next session, some of you may have stayed from the previous sessions, we heard from the candidates of the mayor role, we heard from the candidates of the city council members, and now this section, we will hear from the candidates of the IUSD Board of Education. Yeah, as some of you may already know, in 2018, the IUSD Board of Education voted unanimously to transition to a by-trustee area election method. So on the screen right now, you actually see the map. The board considered all public input on the 6 draft maps before selecting this purple fourth map. This November, the citizens of representative trustee areas will be electing a member for IUSD Governing Board of Area 2 and Area 4. And please allow me to translate really quick. 那在开始尔湾学区教委候选人政见发表之前呢，请允许我先跟大家说明一下尔湾学区教委的选举方式。那在2018年的时候，尔湾学区通过了将选举教委的方式改为以分区的方式来进行，也就是说呢，每一个选区的教委由该选区的居民投票选出。那么这个全市呢划为5区您现在看到荧幕上的就是我们的分区分配图。今年11月呢，这个将选出的是2区跟4区的教育委员。Okay. And now, please allow me to introduce the candidates for Area 2. The order of the introduction is based on the confirmation of attending today's forum. So first, please wave to the audience when you hear your name. First is Marlene Bronson. Hello, Marlene. And then we have Katie Mcewen. And then Deborah Kam. And thank you very much. And there is only one candidate from Area 4. And that is Dr. Jeffrey Kim. Nice to meet you. So to make sure that we have a very efficient time for the forum, we will not conduct 2 separate sessions for each area. So then we will save some time for everybody. So first, we will conduct the introduction for our candidates to remind you that you each have 2 minutes to do your introductions, and then the time will be displayed on the screen. So we will start with Marlene first. Marlene, please unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself, Bronson, and I want to thank the South Coast Chinese community and also all other Asian communities that are participating today. Thank you very much for joining and inviting me to this forum. I have been a lifetime member here in Orange County since 1991. Previous to that, I lived in Los Angeles, born native Californian, and I value education very much, as well as I love the children. So the reason why I want to introduce you is my background. I first started off in high school, immediately thinking about the American dream, is what I was raised with. So I automatically put myself into night school programs and without anyone guiding me. And those experiences led me into the fast forward into a career immediately while I was in college. So I started off taking college classes in my senior year. I graduated from high school in 3 years. And then but I still continued, went to cross stage for my graduation. So it was not, just to be clear, I did not go to continuation. I just was early. So I like those same opportunities for other students. And so my main reason for running is I know that they have an excellent program here in Irvine, in the community of Irvine. And I want to take those tools that I learned and be able to provide those same opportunities for our future generation. My career led me into the medical field initially. I worked with prosthetics and orthotics. So I learned a lot about innovation at a young age.
Thank you, Marlene. Your time is up. Thank you. Next, let's welcome Katie Mcewen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Mcewen, and it's an honor to be here. I've been an Irvine resident for 18 years, and I've lived in Orange County since I was 5 years old. I went to Stanford University. I had a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, and I played on the Stanford women's soccer team. My background includes volunteer teaching in Indonesia. I did a program called Volunteers in Asia. I also worked in corporate America at Ingram Micro and also Floor Daniel. I also taught in IUSD. That was how I started my teaching career, was at Northwood High School. I taught after that in Los Angeles in a private school, and I coached girls varsity soccer. I came back and taught at Northwood again, and then I stayed home for many years. I'm back teaching as a substitute teacher, and it's allowed me the chance to see schools in IUSD from elementary, middle to high school, and including Irvine Virtual Academy. My husband, Steve, and I have raised our family in Irvine, and our kids have attended Irvine public schools all the way from kindergarten to graduation. I've been actively involved in public schools and our Irvine community as a parent volunteer. I've been room parent, coach, team parent, board member for PTSA, as well as other community organizations. My oldest is a sophomore at Stanford right now, and my younger two are at Woodbridge High School. Their strengths and challenges are very different, and I have one child who has special needs, and we've gone to IEP meetings for 10 years. I'm running for school board because I want to make a positive contribution to the public school system that has provided such a benefit to my family. I bring a unique perspective and a wide range of hands-on and current knowledge of the district through my experience as a teacher, as a parent, and as a volunteer. As a school board member, I would support our teachers. We need to attract and retain the best teachers for our kids. We need to also support our classified staff. They're the ones who make it possible for our teachers and our students to succeed. I would also support mental wellness, so important coming out of this pandemic, and I would support our academics and educational excellence.
Thank you so much. Next, please hear from Deborah Kam.
Hello, thank you so much for putting on this forum. Thank you to all the hosts. This really allows the community to make informed decisions when they vote. My name is Deborah Kam, and I'm running for the Irvine School Board to uphold the rights of parents and taxpayers. I have lived in Irvine for 25 years with my husband. We have 2 children, one of whom is an adult now. He started here in kindergarten in 2006. My daughter is a high school student. I have a bachelor's degree in economics and psychology, as well as a master's in business administration. I have volunteered in many roles throughout Irvine. I've even acted as a school mascot and jumped around in a mascot suit. So I've volunteered for many years throughout the district. I have 20 years of experience as an advocate for children, as well as being the voice of parents. Our first child was diagnosed with a major heart condition when I was pregnant. He required 3 open heart surgeries before he was 2 years old. That was the toughest experience of our lives. Thankfully, he is doing well. But at the time, that was before Facebook. That was when the internet was not like it is now. So we co-founded a nonprofit organization to help other families throughout California. Our reach was to support families, but also to provide information so that they could make informed decisions about all of the decisions that they had to make for their children. That led to creating a nationwide survey of parent perspectives regarding this medical diagnosis that we published in medical journal articles. That also led to me being invited to co-author cardiology textbook chapters because physicians were very open to hearing the parent perspectives, and they knew that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, let's hear from Dr. Jeffrey Kim.
Chair and President Yulan Chang, I just want to thank you so much for your invitation and the South Coast Chinese Cultural Center for your 47 years of service and leadership in our community, all our supporting organizations and viewers. My name is Dr. Jeff Kim, National Board Certified Teacher. I have 5 children in IUSD, believe it or not, all girls. I have 2 in high school, 1 in middle school, and 2 elementary. I have 20 years in education. So in addition to teaching, I'm also an instructional coach, supporting teachers, a teacher educator at Cal State University, Fullerton, where I'm training future teachers. I received my teaching credential from UCI and I have an educational doctorate from the University of Southern California. So my priorities include creating spaces of belonging. I would love for our students to say, not that I just go to this school, but that I belong here. And that happens when we create positive learning environments that include students knowing their own story by name, and knowing our students by name, need, and assets, and giving them the opportunity to tell their stories. So we live in one of the most culturally blessed nations in the world. So how can we be culturally honoring? Supporting social and emotional health, mental health, giving our students to engage in the community and show compassion through civic engagement. I would love to see California democracy schools all across IUSD, where students have a chance to not only talk about what they're passionate about, but do something good with it. And that's really my goal. My goal is to help our students find out what is it that they're passionate about, what is it that they're good at, and then help them to do good with it. And of course, I would love to see this happening in 21st century schools, in our state-of-the-art schools. They already look amazing, continuing it that way. And also in those spaces, learning 21st century skills like communication, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and compassion. And together with the community, not in silos, but working with universities, schools, and communities. There's so much opportunity, and I'm so excited to do my part to support the community.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I want to thank all of you for your wonderful introductions. Now we're going to proceed to the next section, which is the questions and answers. We have some pre-selected questions from the community members. And as a reminder, you will have 1 minute each to answer the question, and we will be rotating the order of who gets to answer first. So the first question will be answered by Marlene first. It's a little bit heavy. School shootings seem to be prevalent throughout the country. What plans do you have to keep our schools safe?
Yes, this has been number one priority for myself as well. And the first thing that I would do is implement computer system cybersecurity in our computers program, which I identified that it's not current. So we need to bring that current so that way we can be aware of any students that might be using words that are act of violence. Working alongside with the Irvine Police Department and any other special agencies such as the military. I would be supportive of including all of those agencies so that we can provide our children to be safer in their environment and less harm for them and preventing harm, proactive. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Same question for Katie.
Yes, school safety and our student safety, there's nothing more important. And it's really a shame that we have to discuss this, the fact that so much has been happening on a national scale with school shooters and things like that. We have to think about these things. So you would really hope that you wouldn't have to. Luckily in our district, Sharon Wallen, the trustee who is currently in my trustee area who's leaving, she and I spoke, and she has made it a real goal to make sure that we have safe schools and that we have emergency plans and that our students are prepared. So we have a very good system in place. There are drills The students are briefed. They think of all the things, how are we going to exit the classroom? Where are we meeting up? The emergency backpacks. I've seen it all. I've been in these classrooms and I've seen the emergency notebooks and the backpack you carry, and I've been in the drills. So there's nothing more important, and I will carry on that legacy that Sharon Wallen has begun to keep our kids safe.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Same question for Deborah.
Thank you so much. And as others have said, obviously safety is the number one issue. I have a little bit different take as being a special education advocate, helping hundreds of families with children with special needs. Usually in the news, when these stories come out, it's usually the fact that these children have been crying out for help. Sometimes they have special needs that have not been addressed. I think that Irvine needs to do a better job of addressing issues as they arise in our special needs community. We need to do a better job of addressing mental health issues, which we know have really increased during COVID. And everything starts with that. If we can help support our students, hopefully we won't have any of those issues here in Irvine. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Same question for Jeff.
Once again, Irvine has a wonderful plan in place. We had a chance to talk to Superintendent Terry Walker and the coordination with IPD and 21st century technology. So the videos that we see in our schools, the police are able to get immediately. This is very rare in many cities across our country. So this is something very special for Irvine, but I believe in being even more proactive than that. And that's, once again, I'm doubling down on fostering that positive learning environment in schools. When students feel a sense of belonging, when they're able to identify their purpose and passion, there's community building, civic engagement, where they're engaged in serving their community, that creates opportunities for love to grow. I think oftentimes when we look at the profiles of these situations, oftentimes there's a lot of self-hate that is there. But what if we fostered spaces where students had an opportunity to be able to understand what their skill sets are and show compassion to others? If we create spaces like that, I think we'd see a more beautiful community.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Okay, next question, we will ask Katie to answer first. The question is, what are some programs you will implement to help new immigrant students and parents integrate into Irvine schools?
Well, the public school is for everyone in the public, and we need to make sure that everyone feels welcome. Everyone has a space. We have a new parent center that welcomes all. We have all sorts of resources to make sure that students who are new to the district know how to get up to speed and how to integrate. They would need to be wrapped into, introducing to the PTA and our communities, making sure that they are protected as far as do they have access to technology? How are they getting to school? Do they need transportation? There's a lot of considerations when someone comes in as an immigrant, and you want to make sure that, language, if that's a consideration, we need language support. All of these things IUSD supports, and they can even do more. So I would advocate for immigrants who come into our district to make sure that they're included. I'm all about, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I am an advocate for immigrants who come to our district and become students in our schools.
Thank you so much. Same question for Deborah.
Thank you so much for the question. Yes, immigrants, as they come into Irvine Unified, should be obviously welcomed just like anybody else in Irvine Unified. Immigrants might have language barriers, so we need to partner them up with translators and people within that community to help introduce them to the school district. Again, we have a lot of kids with special needs who come from very different cultural backgrounds, and it's extremely important that parents understand their rights as citizens here and rights as parents of students in Irvine. We do have groups that can help support families of all different cultural backgrounds. We need to make sure that there is no bullying and no discrimination of any of our students who come into Irvine Unified. I have fought for discrimination against students with disabilities, and the same goes for immigrants.
Thank you so much. Same question for Jeff.
What an opportunity and asset for Irvine to have this wonderful opportunity, seeing language and culture and heritage and migration stories as an asset. This is a strength for Irvine. So how can we draw that out? You know, as a teacher educator, I actually teach a class on this, on welcoming new and plurilingual students. And Cheer, I would want to invite you to the classrooms and show how being bilingual and being multicultural can bridge cultures, bridge people together. That is what I would want to see in Irvine, where they see their language, culture experiences as an asset. I would love to see parents invited, sharing their stories and histories as well. And they spoke a language other than English, seeing that as an asset once again. And what a wonderful opportunity for our students to be globally minded and to realize we're part of a greater community as well, and to also share their own strengths and stories and to elevate student voice. That is what I would love to see, and create spaces for opportunities for connections, because we have such a place where so many people are gathering together.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Same question for Marlene.
Yes. So immigration has been a topic, right? And we have so many barriers, language barriers, and other incidents such as going to the bathroom and just using the trash. And sometimes in their country, they don't have those tools. So we need to be a better country that educates them and helps them so that they are comfortable in the school setting. For example, a language program app that would help the parents understand English translation, a translation program that will help them understand the English. And I thought about this many, many years ago, where because the parents don't understand what they're learning, then the student fails. So we're failing the students and the parents by not giving them the tools they need. So we need to make sure that they're implemented. And like my other candidate said, mentoring, a parent mentor program, making sure that they're utilizing that and educating them on the Constitution, our United States Constitution, would be beneficial for them as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, and I want to thank all of you for answering question number 2. Next question, we'll ask Deborah to answer first. Given the multicultural city we live in, what actions would you take to prepare Irvine students to live harmoniously in an ethnically diverse society?
Thank you for the question. Well, I think that this goes along with the last question. We need to teach our children, obviously, to respect one another's cultures and our diversity. We need to respect views of all students and all families. And I believe that even within cultures, there are very, very big differences. And I respect individual parent choice, individual choices for them to make what they believe is the right decision for their own children. And so when we talk about diversity, it's not just cultural, it's also diversity of thought, it's diversity of experience. And we need more diversity on our school board, for example, diversity of thought. Our school board is primarily backed by the union, and we need someone who can represent all parents and all taxpayers. And so we need diversity all the way around. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Same question for Jeff.
Yes, I have these 4 words: know, tell, listen, and do. And so helping our students know their own story. So guiding our students in knowing their own story, supporting our students to tell their story with empathy and respect, having others listen with empathy and respect, and then doing something good with their story. Just like a cheer you are doing for this group. I would love to see our students doing things like that, having students create ethnographies where they see language, culture, and heritage as an asset. We live in one of the most culturally blessed nations of the world, and Irvine may be the most city in the world. How can we be culturally honoring? How can we create greater spaces? And I think it's going to include partnerships. Partnerships, for example, with the South Coast Chinese Cultural Center and other groups that could help us see what is culturally honoring. I think a lot of folks, we talk about diversity, but when we ask, could you name 3 Asian Americans that have impacted this country in a great way? they might struggle with this. So let's create spaces where we can create many places
you.
for to shine.
Thank you so much. And same question for Marlene.
Yes, my grandfather came here as an immigrant, and when he was growing up, he did not. He had Asians in his school, all different backgrounds, and there wasn't any discussion of this. They just played, and it was character. It was their behavior of good respect for one another. So if we can somehow, avoid it being a cultural or a diversity in a demeaning way, we just need to stop talking about that so much and more talk about just the everyday issues and or life, just the everyday life, and not have to worry. My grandfather he was 100 years old when he told me this. He did not have to worry. And so if we can just help each other out by not focusing on those issues and more love each other.
Thank you so much. Same question for Katie.
What a blessing that we have so many cultures and such diversity in our schools and in our city. It's something, as an English teacher, I look at it as, we all have stories, and storytelling is really powerful. It connects us. It connects our students to each other. It connects us as community members. So I would look for ways that we can allow people to come and share their stories, whether it be in their classes or in their groups. There's so many different student groups. You can create your own group if you want to. My kids have had the experience of joining all sorts of different clubs at Woodbridge High School. And I love that it's really been part of our culture for quite some time now to celebrate difference and to celebrate our diversity. We are stronger when we are multicultural and when we respect differences. So I would support all of those things. I would love to see kids share their stories and connect with each other so that we can be a stronger school district.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Katie. And I want to thank all of you for your wonderful answers for all the questions. At this time, we will move to the closing statements. And then, as I mentioned, we'll reverse the order. So we will start with Dr. Jeff Kim.
What a privilege to be here today. I've been so welcomed by you all, and I've been welcomed by so many in Irvine, including the entire board, governing board in IUSD, including Cyril Yu, and I saw Lauren Brooks in the guest list today. I've been welcomed by the Irvine Teachers Association and the California School Employees Association. It takes a team to make the dream happen, and it's so wonderful to be just welcomed by everybody. And also in the district that I work in, welcomed and supported by the teachers I work with, from the teachers all the way on up to our Superintendent Michael Matsuda as well. So thankful to have the friendship of so many in Irvine to support, because it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us to support our 36,000 students here in Irvine Unified School District. This work of helping our students find out what they're good at so that they can do good with it. This is not a one-person job. This is not a 10-person job. This is entire Irvine working together to support our students. Irvine, which has so many companies and businesses. I've talked about university school community partnerships. We have University of California, Irvine here in Irvine. We have businesses here in Irvine who are doing global things. This is a wonderful opportunity for our students. So we want to create that space so students can know their story. We want to elevate their voice. We want to encourage whatever they're passionate about, encourage it so that they can find their purpose, this feeling of agency, like I can do something about my situation. And then, of course, take action, but not just any action, compassionate action. There's a Chinese proverb. It says, if you are planning for a year, sow rice. If you are planning for a decade, plant trees. If you are planning for a lifetime, educate the people. Let's educate the next generation right now. If you want to know a little bit more about some of my thoughts, I have a YouTube channel, Ed Family, and I also have a website, Dr. Jeff Kim for IrvineSchoolBoard.com. I'm very proud to support our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, let's welcome Deborah Kam.
Thank you again for this opportunity to express our views so that the community can make informed decisions. Irvine has been a wonderful place for us to raise our kids, and quite honestly, I've learned the most from my kids. As I mentioned, my son needed 3 open heart surgeries, and that was one of the hardest things we've ever gone through. Our daughter actually is adopted from Korea. We adopted her as an infant, and so that was a whole other learning experience that has really enriched our lives. But it's important for you to know is, as a community member, I've already been working for the parents and all of the community members of Irvine. I was able to change an unconstitutional policy that this board had for many years and decades, in fact, that violated our First Amendment rights. We all need to be able to speak to board members and speak to the board. They work for us. And as a board member, I will work for you. I will understand my role as a representative of the Irvine residents. I've already exposed where some of our tax dollars are going. Instead of helping kids, it's going to attorneys. We have children who are not meeting English language arts standards. In fact, 25% of our students are not meeting English language arts standards. We need to do better. We talk about diversity, but the same minority groups are not doing well academically. African Americans and other groups have significant gaps year after year after year. As a board member, I will support diversity of parental views and the views of all of our community, but parents and taxpayers need to be represented on this board. And I've already done the work. I will continue to do the work, and I'm very gratefully asking for your vote. You can look at my website, Deborah Cam for IrvineSchoolBoard.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Next, please welcome Katie Mcewen.
As a board member, I will always keep the student at the center of my decisions. And the candidates all make some really good points today. But what is this all for? What are we hoping that our students come away with when they graduate? What kind of people do we want them to be? We want to produce students who are independent, reflective problem solvers. Students who can think for themselves based on the skills that they've developed through their experience in IUSD. Those who can innovate and take risks and tackle the challenges and issues that we face in this world. Who will be resilient and have grit through the process, and who will always look to evidence and consider all viewpoints in order to better guide their own decisions. I know if you have teenagers, they're constantly on their phone, not to rely on TikTok or social media as, how to pick their positions on things, but to know how to drill down and get to the source and to consider all sides. And then you can come up with your stance because you have evidence. That's the kind of student we want to produce in this school district, and I would help with that vision. In order to achieve that, we need to support our teachers. Our teachers are where it all happens. The classroom and the contact that they have with teachers, it's all important. All of these things that I say, it comes back to our teachers. We need to support them. A lot of districts don't have enough teachers. We have ours. Even after the pandemic, they have stayed. We've asked them to do things that were incredibly difficult, and now they're recovering and they're tired. We want to keep our great teachers in our district, so we support them and our classified staff. We also need to support our mental wellness for our students. It's really quite a crisis. The CDC reported last year that 44% of all high school students felt persistent feelings of hopelessness and sadness. It's startling. Students can't learn if they aren't well. So those are my 2 priorities. I want to also support academic excellence in meeting all of our students' needs and challenges. People move to Irvine for our schools, and I want to keep that standard of excellence.
Thank you so much. Last but not least, let's hear from Marlene Bronson.
Thank you. Children are the heart and soul of our country in the USA. And we must remember that they are growing up and learning and reading and writing and arithmetic, but we need to make sure that they are learning it. We also need to keep them with the tools that they need to be equipped for life, and that they will take what they've learned from Irvine Unified School District well into the future. And not only that, that they will be empowered with the tools that they were given to apply those skills in their life learning, like I have demonstrated in the long life learning, and that they will be able to be supported by not only the IUSD, but also by their parents. So equipping their parents with giving them the pro-choice in education, giving them parental rights, and informing them and supporting them too with what's going on in our school system is a vital part in our education system. Because without having the parents in the school relaying these messages with the kids, they will be lost. So we need to save our children by providing them with the tools for not just for education, because honestly, a degree is not enough. We need to work on their character, and it starts in the heart and mind and soul that we need to protect. And what goes in the eyes, it acts out in their behavior. So we need to continue to enforce protection for what they see, what they hear, and what they learn. So thank you, and I want to be able to thank everybody for joining us today. And any further questions, you can go to www.bronsonk12.org. Have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you so much, Marlene. And thank you, all of you, for joining us this afternoon. And, it's such an honorable thing that you not only care about your own children who are in the district, you care about all of us, the parents and the children who are in the district, who are in the city. So we want to thank you for, having that big love and passion for just beyond your own families. So let's take a virtual group picture. At this time, I'd like to invite Principal Yulan Chang to also join us. And also, I actually see the candidates from the mayoral as well as the city council. So after this group picture, let's have a bigger group picture.